Alrighty, so we are live. Thank you, Liberosity and Classy Liberal, for joining me tonight. How are you guys?
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. Yeah, it's great.
Awesome. What's up,
I'm
Classy?
doing fine.
How was the stream last week? I didn't even get a chance to watch it yet. Like,
Not as cringy as I thought it would be. So, for those that don't know, last week, Revenge of the Dreamer wasn't available for the live stream, so I basically took over and I live streamed with another YouTube user, Black Lightning. It was actually a pretty chill stream. I mean, I saw parts of it back, and Black Lightning agrees that it was a chill stream. So,
nice, nice. Yeah, we gotta do it with. Is he right? He?
he.
Yeah, we got the pic. I mean, the picture looks. I don't know. I just.
Yeah, there's a reason for that. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah. So yeah, I didn't get a chance to watch it, but yeah, we definitely got to do it again with when I'm available, so we can meet up and just chill.
Sure.
But thank you guys again for joining us tonight. I'm here with Liberosity. First of all, what is Liberosity? What does that mean?
Fucking, I have no idea. It just sounded cool, but
He's
I guess
curious for liberty.
fuck you stole my thunder. I was gonna say it was like a amalgamation of thoughts. I guess liberty being the primary. Then I don't know. I was thinking of generosity and curiosity because I am
It's so
constant.
annoying, right? It's so annoying trying to come up with a fucking YouTube name.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I made this shit years ago. I was thinking of using like an old Steam ID, and I was brainstorming for like 20 seconds. I don't know, probably longer, probably longer than that. But I don't know. It just came to me like that, I guess. And then that came about, and I really liked it, and I've stuck with it for like a year and a half.
Cool, cool. So yeah, man, I appreciate you joining us tonight. The reason I wanted to bring you on, of course, as you guys have been watching every week, you know that I'm just bringing on smaller creators on the show just to chit chat and just to use this platform as I think it should be used, which is to talk about subjects, expand ideas, and meet different people, right? So now we're joined by the Liberosity. The reason I brought you is because I saw your Pride video, and I was watching a couple different Pride things, and this new month, this is Pride Month, and for those of you who are just oblivious, Pride is like the gay community, LGBT lobby, just showing support for that. Of course, with the rainbows, that's the like official symbol, I guess. Now it's like official, whatever. But yeah, so it was that month. So I was, my thing with the whole Pride thing is that, and I got some stories and some anecdotes to talk about that. But I feel like it just has been very corporatized, like many other things. And what does it even mean, right? So what were you thinking when you made that video, and like, well, how have your thoughts changed, and what's kind of your overall feelings about that?
Me, freaking like let me just say, like, I am bisexual, more or less. I see myself going one way more than the other in the future, wife and kids and whatnot. But it's just so fucking annoying going to school every day, seeing these rainbow-haired freaks. Like, my whole, especially, I go into this more into another video that I made recently, my newest one actually. That shit isn't helping the LGBT community at all. Like, people in homophobic nations seeing weird gay men, weird fat, hairy, obese gay men walking down the streets with children watching. That shit isn't helping anybody's case. That's just damaging it beyond repair. It's nuts. Like,
Yeah, I think what is the thing? Like, I feel like my thing is, the kids, right? Like, they have pride, so they have these parades, and you're having grown men in the streets with their dicks out, and it's like, should we want to live in a society or make it, maybe think it's okay for us to have just kids like seeing fucking grown, like, especially, young girls seeing how a dick is, like, that shit's scarring.
I know, like,
Well,
freaking.
this is the argument from them. I'm not saying I agree with this argument, but a lot of people on the left argue that they want kids to be comfortable with sexuality, and they say that that's basically the best way to educate kids that from they're young, have them exposed to this, so when they get older, they wouldn't have a problem with it in the future.
Have them freaking exposed to degeneracy, God. But
Yeah, and like I said, well, I'm saying that I think that's bullshit because I know that's not your argument. You're kind of playing the devil advocate and just you're just kind of saying their argument, you know, and that's why I like you, Classy. But yeah, it's you know, that doesn't make sense because a kid shouldn't be exposed to sexuality at such a young age. Like you should want to, once they hit puberty, that's when like anything sexual, like you should try to keep them innocent until then. It's actually shown that if they have sexual encounters, I mean, look at kids who are molested, look at kids who experience sex. Like I have so many stories of friends of mine who they don't know what's going on because they're fucking innocent kids, and then they found out they're molested later because I mean it's not always molestation, but just being involved in things that they shouldn't be involved in, and then that has such a profound effect on that childhood that their brain is so young and ready to like develop that it's like the worst thing in the world, like where you're exposing a kid to something like that, and then who knows how they're going to turn out later. You know,
it's freaking nuts. And like I've heard from one family professional who doesn't really lean left nearly at all that, like, you know, kids as young as 5, I don't know if I even believe them. They're not really as professional in this field, but like, you know, kids as young as 5, you know whether or not, you know, they're trans or not. I can't say anything. I still think that's kind of BS, but especially either way, no matter what, kids shouldn't be doing anything. Normal kids don't typically 99% of kids like don't have like sexual feelings until at least like the age of like 10, 11 or anything. That's like the youngest maybe if my brain is doesn't feel like working today. But you know, the points I see like freaking I don't live in like a populated area, but I mean in like a big city or anything, but I see all these freaking videos online of like, you know, New York, I used to be from like Queens, but
nice
in best borough, but of kid like 5 to like 7-year-olds being just brought out there, and there's this like one poor bastard, he's probably a little older, maybe 12. Have you seen like this what's it like drag queen 12-year-old boy that's been like paraded around by the LGBT community at all?
Oh yeah. I've seen there's 2 of them actually, and I've seen that, and they're like super promoted by Mike and Vox and all these, you know, very super left-wing media companies and shit, and it's horrendous, and it's like why are you you think it's okay for a kid to be in a drag queen club, like an adult place? It's basically that's anything when it comes to you know, I got to be careful how I say this. Anything when it comes to just, you know, you have some people, like not all gay people want this, right?
Of course not.
And that's my thing is like, whatever, I'm not gay and I have a lot of gay friends and I just go by what they tell me and how conversations we have, you know, I'm straight, whatever. And maybe some people look at me like, yeah, you don't get to have an opinion. I think that's not right because I live in this world and I want to have kids. And my thing is just kids being involved with like sexuality, right? And that's why you have some things that it's not okay for kids. It's not just because, we're more accepting of gay people. We're more, you know, we live in America. Gay people finally have the right to marry and have the right to live freely and do whatever they want, right? Theoretically, right? I guess theoretically. But let's stop pushing this on kids. That's it. That's my only. I mean, I've talked about this before with transgenderism. I've had arguments with my family members. I have a very left-leaning cousin. I mean, she doesn't, like I said, she's not into politics. It's just, you know, she's from Canada. Like, just grew up very, you know, it's a different world there. Like they push the kids to like kids will come home with like things about protesting and showing parents how to protest so they can protest against whatever gender norms or whatever, fill in the blank, whatever they want to protest.
Jesus,
it's ridiculous. Yeah. So so I've had arguments with her about how I think that other conservative transgender YouTubers that I've seen. They're saying like, hey, yeah, like this is ridiculous. They're pushing stuff on kids, and that's why you see a 400% increase of kids saying that they're transgender. It's like, oh yeah, well, is that because now we're more accepting, or is that because now like a kid will see someone be labeled as transgender in elementary school, and then they get all this praise and hype and attention, and then someone who feels disenfranchised and feels that they don't have attention be like, yeah, I'm transgender. It's like, oh my god, yes, no, we're gonna celebrate you, and you're like, oh my god, you're so cool now, right? So
Jesus, but fuck, what was that? You know,
go ahead.
yeah. Fuck, I lost my train of thought, but I got it. And you know, like all this stuff, shit coincides with like, so 2015 was like the huge turning point in like the United States, and you know, then thereof, like, you know, the world, you know, gay marriage is legalized, and not overnight, but it seems like it, at least, you know, it being so long ago, gays were accepted, and all that stuff kind of like happened fast. But now we're seeing, after at least, you know, 3 years of this post, because I honestly can't see any scenario where like gays are discriminated against in the U.S. anymore, not systematically at least. But now after 3 years of that, now the opinion of gay people is like starting to go down again. You know, I wonder why, when we're seeing them like all associated with all of this freaking leftist bullshit, and not just like leftist bullshit, but like all of this weird nonsense, like what I was trying to say before about, like, you know, the naked man marching down the streets of New York. That ain't helping anybody.
Right. Of course.
It's just crazy.
Yeah, that's not helping anybody. And my thing too that I wanted to bring up is about the, like I said, or I mentioned it in the beginning, the corporatization of the whole pride thing, where it's like, oh yeah, we got rainbow everything, guys. You know,
it's like,
get your rainbow pins, get your rainbow socks, like, you know.
Yeah, it's like I'm sorry to interject.
No, go ahead.
But like, I was just with my family at the beginning of June, you know, right as school got out. We live in Florida. We live like 3 hours from Orlando, and we go up to Disney like, you know, every year, once or twice. When we were there, God, was it a freaking mistake to go there at the beginning of June. There was this obnoxious rainbow hat everywhere. It was so annoying. And not only that, there was like custom shit too. Like, you know, hey, you know, you're going to Disney, you might be bringing like your infant kids who might know jack about the world. You know, how would you want like their first experience with like gay people to be? Because like this shit will stay with me forever. We were walking around, I forget where, but basically my family just like came up. We were behind like two guys, a gay couple, obviously, and their shirts, they had like matching shirts that read like in the Disney font, you know, I'm his next ride, which fucking, we laughed about that shit. But God, that's fucking, who thinks that that's a good idea?
Well, I don't know. I mean, if they're kids and they're that young, I think the joke would just
fly past but that's them. Of course, but I don't know. I get, maybe that is just having an adult brain and thinking about it. But
no, I agree with you. That's the gripes I have. And like, you ever go back and watch like old Disney movies and see all the like weird shit that they put in, like maybe you didn't notice as a kid, but maybe some kids noticed it. Maybe some kids saw it subconsciously. Like I think it was like the Little Mermaid, where like the priest had like a boner or something like that. I don't know if that was like fake or whatever. There's also like the dildo. Those are
supposed to be like his Bentley.
I read that too, but yeah, but I get what you're talking about.
Yeah, there's I know that, like I said, that was supposed to be bullshit, and they fixed it. Like, it wasn't like, oh yeah, there's some nefarious thing. But then there's like, what I'm talking about more is like, and you see it more and more with movies, and it's kind of changed over time. And I feel like it's just, our culture changing, whatever. But you know, you see it in movies now with like, if it's supposed to be a kids movie, you see like these adult jokes where the kids don't get it, and then the adults who are watching do, and it's like, oh wow, now they're gonna probably understand what that meant in the future, or maybe they're gonna be curious about that now and ask other people, and maybe ask a kid who doesn't know what it means. You know, like I think there was like in Cars where the women, like I remember, like I was watching Cars, the first Cars, the Pixar movie with my like a niece and nephew of mine. And they were like, there was a scene where like the cars like were flashing the lights on the lights of the cars, like the girls, and it's supposed to be like the fangirls like flashing their boobs or whatever. And then I know that, but just think of a kid watching that. So they asked me like, why, like, what is that supposed to mean? And then I didn't want to tell them. It's like, oh yeah, that's supposed to mean something that you'll know later. But yeah, that's an example of what we're seeing more and more in movies. And that's kind of in line with what you're seeing, not just movies, but media and just culture now, where it's like, it's in Disney writing, like, like there's conversations about this with like older families and stuff, people with kids, where it's like, oh yeah, Disney is supposed to be this, or it's supposed to be okay for kids, but then they might include this. It's like, I don't know. I'm kind of going on a rant, but I know what you mean. It's like maybe, yeah, Classy, you're saying like, oh, well, the kid, maybe they won't get it. But it's like, yeah, it's in Disney writing. It's obviously some Disney influence. And like, okay, it's okay to, yes, gays are accepted, but like, just maybe would a straight person wear that? Like, I don't think so. What do you think? Can you hear me?
I think you weren't talking to me, were you?
Yeah, I'm talking to you. Yeah.
Oh, shit. What's it?
Well, yeah. Anyone who wants to jump in, I don't care. Just
yeah. Fucking that's the thing. That's why people are getting so pissed off with the LGBT community. I hate saying community, but yeah, that's what everybody else calls it. It's just they're such a minority, and being. I don't think this is necessarily what's happening, but it's kind of happening inadvertently. But fucking, in the old, a few years ago, 10 years ago, people would paint all gays as like, fucking degenerate scum. So now I guess maybe to get back at them, they're acting like fucking degenerate scum. I don't know, but that's not helping anybody's cause. That's, it's weird because
I have a question for you. So, and hopefully I'm not interrupting, but, like, what about this thing now where it's like, oh yeah, our president, like Donald Trump and Mike Pence and all anyone who's conservative and Republican, they hate gays and they're your enemy. And
I have no idea where that came from, because I'd consider myself, I have too much Trump paraphernalia. I've noticed this recently. Like, I mean, I won a few of them and I bought a few of them, but somehow I have too much now. But what's it? I mean, Mike never said anything. I mean, in recent times, I think he signed off on some bill 10 years ago about that might have been somewhat discriminatory. I don't even think it was. But in the present day, he just said, hey, I'm a Christian. Bible doesn't like that. That's all that I've heard him say about it. I don't think he said anything derogatory.
Wait, who are you talking about?
Mike Pence. Mike Pence.
Oh, Mike Pence.
Do you know if he said anything negative recently?
I know that, well, not recently. I just know that like some people were saying that like he was into electroshock therapy.
Oh, that was the big meme, and it's still a meme, I guess.
Yeah, that's a
meme.
That
might have been the bill that he...
Electroshock?
Yeah. But even then, I guess that's founded on 10 years ago, or maybe a little less, but still, freaking time flies. I mean, people's opinions on shit change. And then Trump, at least running for president, I don't know what he was a year before. There might be recordings of him saying he doesn't really care about the LGBT, but there's a pretty famous picture of him, holding up a flag in like 2015 that says like, gays for Trump and something, and he was happy about it.
No, he's pretty pro-gay marriage. I mean, actions speak louder than words, and like since his election, he says he's not gonna do anything regarding the whole same-sex marriage. He doesn't care about it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so
no, go on.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say like before he said like, oh, I've been to gay weddings and stuff like that. So
exactly.
That was a big question at like the first debate or the first, would you go to a gay wedding?
Wow, yeah. So and so speaking of that, yeah, Classy, what you're saying about Trump, it's like he supported gays more than Obama and Hillary. Hillary, I think, finally agreed with gay marriage, or in 2009, and that's why I hate her. She's just a fucking pandering, person who will just go with where the wind blows. She doesn't have her own ideals to stand on. And then it's the same thing. Well, not Obama. Obama was kind of like, I felt like he couldn't really like, he might have agreed with the whole gay marriage thing, but he couldn't really come out with that. Like, in order to get elected, he did have to kind of be like the more conservative, and and that helped him. And then finally he opened up. So I don't really have a problem with him, but it's just the thing. It's like, yeah, so the Republican, he supported the gay marriage wave before any of these people. Why are you guys trying to diss him? Why are you guys trying to say that he's anti-gay? Like, like you have people like who are gay or in the LGBT community say like, our president wants to harm us. And it's like, hold on. So what did you just say? Like, what do you mean? Like, what does that mean? Like, who's going to harm you? You think Trump wants to send cavalcades of, army people to kill gay people and gas people? So he's Hitler. Like, no, like, let's be real about this. Let's be serious. My whole thing with this is, yeah, I also live in Florida, and, I have a work friend of mine who's gay, and he is married, and he's a very conservative gay person. And I didn't know. Like, I worked with him for a couple of years, and only like in passing, like one time he's like, oh yeah, I'm going here with my husband or whatever. And I was like, your husband? Like, well, I didn't know you were gay. And he's like, yeah. And he was telling me about it. And like, he's just very reserved and just cool, chill. I mean, he's
now
not.
That's the alpha. That's the alpha gay guy. That's the people who I respect in society.
He's a pretty alpha guy. But yeah, and I was surprised. And I was like, yeah, man, that's cool. And and one day, we're going on different paths now, but we were talking, and he's like, yeah, like, I'm not celebrating anything Pride. Pride. I don't want to be associated with people who think it's cool to like wear a diaper in the streets. Like, that was his exact words. And that
good for him.
Yeah, and I just felt like that spoke volumes about like what thing he's about. And and that's what all these topics and these ideas and things that are changing. Like, the internet has changed the game so much, the landscape with how we're getting our information. And I'd say in some ways it's bad, in some ways it's good. I mean, I hate how there's a lot of people who are like sucking on InfoWars teats and believing everything they say, and anything who doesn't say what they believe, they're fake and it's all conspiracy. Like,
Hey, Alex is more right than he ought to be. But I mean, I agree. Yeah, InfoWars is pretty creepy.
Yeah, well, I like some of the videos InfoWars makes, but I hate the false flag shit.
Yes,
that really pisses me off with like with the Sandy Hook stuff, with like, oh, every fucking attack, every fucking incident is a staged, and it's the government involved.
It's terrible, but I laugh at that shit. It's Alex is a beautiful man, but
yeah. And my thing is someone who I guess would identify as a libertarian, or I don't like to use that word because it does carry baggage, but my idea is just, when I think of the government, it's like, we're the government. The main thing with us is like, they can't do shit. They're incompetent. So don't give them all this power. Sometimes some people, they give all this power to the government as if there's some CIA agents crawling around, and they're like this nefarious Illuminati group.
Of course.
But no, it's not that way. It's not as sexy as that. In fact, it's more just incompetence. Look, go to the DMV, go to the post office, go to the VA, right? These are all things people have talked about before. And it's pretty obvious that, so that's the stuff that pisses me off. The false flag stuff, just with he has been assumed with like parents that get affected by these crazies who harass these parents, saying, you're crisis actors, your kid didn't really die.
I wonder to what degree the staff at InfoWars goes along with that, because I know Paul Joseph Watson. He goes on, like, I think he's a 9/11. He is or was a 9/11 truther for a while, but I don't think he's that as crazy as Alex.
The thing about Paul Joseph Watson, he's more interested in like the anti, social justice stuff. That's what makes him popular.
Right.
And he probably does believe in some of the conspiracy theories, but I think but he's like more rational. Like, I think like there are times where he sort of like wants to say, hey, I don't agree with this, but because he works for Alex, he can't. But I think it's a more rational one, to be honest. Like he's just a conservative dude, just interested in bashing the radical left. And
Yeah. I mean, there's that guy Owen Schroyer. Like, I love his videos. Like, I've talked about him before, where he'll just go to like, that's the stuff I like. Where he'll have a camera where you're wearing a suit with a microphone, and we'll just go to like a protest of people chanting and just be like, all right, so why are we here? What's going on? Da da da.
Are his videos? I hate when people go to protests and edit the videos, because then of course you could have a fucking a million retards to probe from, but
right.
Obviously you're going to edit out the ones that are a little less interesting to watch. But does he edit his videos or does he not?
I mean, no, like that's the thing. Like the videos I enjoy is like where it'll literally be a straight shot of him just like walking up and be like talking to people in the protests or whatever, and be like, okay, so why are you here? And then they'll be like, I don't want to talk to you. You edit everything. You'll edit this out of context. He's like, no, I'm here. I promise it won't be edited. Go ahead, let's talk. And then the person just has a fucking brain fart, doesn't know how to react. It's like, yes, you're protesting. Like the protesters would rather be part of like a mass like blob of just they can't be individualized, but as soon as they try to be interviewed as an individual, they get scared and oh my god, they clam up. It's like, yeah, so it's to prove a point. So those videos I do enjoy. I'm going to respond real quick. This guy in the chat says, I don't know, I recommend having open-minded skepticism when you hear about something in the media, and I totally do. Like some of the things, like I said, when it comes to InfoWars, my whole thing is just against the false flag narrative. There are some things, a lot of it I don't believe in, but I do agree with having an open mind. But it's gotten to the point where if just because like CNN is showing a video of the volcano in Hawaii, and then if I try to show that to somebody, and then someone will be like, that's CNN, bro, like don't fucking believe that shit. Like
I can't. Has Alex come out to say that the volcanic eruption is a false flag yet?
No, I don't think so. But I'm trying to say it's like just people are getting that dumb where it's like, yeah. So let's think of this logically. You believe that this is a staged thing in your head rather than this is just a fucking video. CNN happened to make the video about it. Can we just go with it? Like, come on, are we going to play this game?
I haven't met that many. I know I haven't met anyone that fucking dumb.
I mean, I'll be honest. Like, I've never met someone in real life like really try to roll with that. But like people on the internet, on the internet.
Okay, that's definitely possible.
Yeah, like if I'm on a stream and I want to show you something about something that's happening locally in the news and everyone's covering it, I happen to show you CNN, and then someone can be in the chat or tweet me like, "Oh, that's CNN, bro. What the fuck?" And it's like, okay, sorry, that was the first thing I clicked. Yes, I hate CNN. I hate it, but it's not a big deal, right?
Yeah, because InfoWars is such a reliable source, right? Totally not biased or anything.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna talk about bias, CNN's not the first one you'd want to defend, of course.
Right.
Yeah, but like when it comes to just like regular news events, like look at this thunderstorm, or I don't know, like look at the hurricane, or
I mean, CNN's not that garbage. I don't think they could spin, the next. I don't know what the next hurricane is, but I don't think that they could spin the next big tornado or thunderstorm into something anti-Trump. They're not that skilled.
I think I've seen shit like that where it's like, oh, the hurricane, like something. I remember last year.
It's gonna affect minority areas.
So hurricanes are racist. Yeah. Fucking hurricanes. Even the hurricanes are racist. But anyway, luckily I'm keeping track of this. But also, I want to respond to here. Nick's Radio in the chat says Obama didn't decide to publicly support gay marriage until Joe Biden forced the issue.
Really? Joe Biden did it. That's funny.
Yeah, actually, there's some truth in that because Joe Biden was actually pretty supportive of gay marriage from the beginning. Actually,
he's definitely
the pedophile.
If it wasn't for his pedophile nature, he'd be.
You guys seen those videos?
Of course. Who hasn't?
The cringe comp. Yeah.
It's oh my god.
We'll back to that one day, but go ahead. Sorry.
I wasn't saying anything.
Well, yeah. So I was saying about Joe Biden forcing or responding to Nick there. I appreciate it, Nick. But yeah, it's true. So Joe Biden forced Obama. I didn't have a big deal with him about gay marriage, but going back to this friend I was telling you about, he said, yeah, I'm not going to support anything pride anymore because I don't want to be associated with, lowlifes and degenerates. He didn't say that, but the specific example he said was the diaper. Like, I don't want to be associated with like people in the streets wearing diapers. Like, that's not me. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then I like I said, I just felt like that spoke volumes about what he said. And then he also said, yeah, like, and then he kind of, I'll be a little honest here, we're not going to be working together anymore. So he was kind of just opening up, and he was like, yeah, I'm a Trump supporter. And he's like, yeah. And I went to, get married with my husband, and my husband's a Cuban immigrant, and he's
Cuban pride, my boy.
There you go. Yeah. And he's like, yeah. And this longtime friend of mine who was, also gay, she was like, she was able to like do the proceeding or whatever. And they got like in a shouting match. And she was like, how can your husband, who's a gay immigrant, support Trump? like that, and like, but that's literally what the argument was.
That's kind of like a perfect, that's like a perfect Democratic voter right there. But good for them.
Yeah, so she refused to marry them. Think about that. You don't see this
whoa,
shit. Yeah.
Whoa.
So you don't see this shit in the news. They'll talk about the gay bakers. They'll talk about whatever they want to talk about.
Oh,
you don't see this in the news. You don't see a woman refusing to marry a gay couple because they're fucking Trump supporters. You don't see
that's
think about it.
Oh my god. Was it a religious wedding or just like a legal?
Good question. I assumed it was kind of like for like the ceremony. I don't think it was about the legal thing, but if with the legal thing, I think you can go anywhere, but
I mean, it was political. It was political. That's the main issue. It's not even like, hey, this is a Catholic Protestant house of God. We can't do it here. So sorry.
Yeah, it's political, and it is kind of, in my opinion, still religious. It's like it's a religion. If you're gay, if you're brown, if you're Latino, if you're this, fill in the blank, whatever. This is identity politics. If you are this, you must believe this. You must, kowtow to this. And that's what a lot of people are sick of. That's what gay people are sick of. Gay people are sick of, and it's not just him. It's not just, I didn't even know you were gay, to be honest, Liberosity. And, so you're meeting more and more people who are speaking up and saying how, the main message he told me too was this coworker of mine. He said, I just want to be treated and seen as everyone else. When you have these other people who want to make a spectacle and be disrespectful, this guy, he's the coolest guy I've ever met. He has his husband. He's got 2 Siberian Huskies. He shows me on his phone. He's happy as hell. He's doing great things in life. Super cool guy I look up to. And it's not like, and that's the thing too. It's not the fact that like he's gay, that's why I know him. No, he's an individual. Like, just, he happens to be gay. He didn't have to be gay. He could be straight and we would have the same relationship, but no, he just happens to be gay, and I don't care. Like, that's awesome. And, that's why you meet some people who are like, oh my God, I just love gay couples. And, oh my God, I love it so much. And it's like, do you love straight couples? No. Yeah, probably not. So what does that mean? Oh, and that's the whole thing too with Pride, where they're selling all this pride shit and this rainbow shit. And it's the same thing with the breast cancer stuff. As someone who, I did volunteer in, the American Cancer Society when I was younger. I lost family members to cancer, about 3 family members. And, you have to be very careful with these organizations and charities and what they're actually doing and what they're actually accomplishing.
I didn't know that, because like my mom, actually, it's kind of funny. My mom, Monday, it was very early, like not a polyp, but like I guess the earliest stage, she just had like a breast cancer surgery. I don't even know if you'd. Oh, wow. I don't know. I don't think everything's fine. She's good now, but I don't know. It's just funny you mentioned that.
Yeah, man. I mean, I like I said, I lost my father to cancer, and it sucks. It was a horrible thing, but it also, I grew from it, and I mean, just I pray for everything to be good with you and your family, man. That's crazy. But anyway, they have the breast cancer thing with the wearing the purple or wearing the pink. The NFL does it, and that's when I kind of get pissed off as a capitalist, as someone who is like, I'm the free market guy. I'm in business, you know, I'm totally into that, right? As someone, I hate when people like take advantage of things, right? And that's what they're doing with pride and with all these things. Like I said, with the breast cancer things, like, oh, we're going to donate 10% to breast cancer research. It's like, yeah, that's fucking great. That's by the time it gets to where it needs to get to, you know, from all the administration and all the other, you know, expenses on the back end and all the stuff behind the scenes that we don't see, actual pennies gets to the cause, right? So that's why you'll see some people not support that, and that's what I hate too, because some people will buy that stuff. It's like just to show that, oh my god, look at me, like I'm such a good person. Like, you know, I hate that moral posturing shit that people
Virtue
do.
signaling.
What's that?
Virtue signaling.
Virtue signaling, yeah. That has been the whole inception of my channel, of just, you know, I try not to say virtue signaling as much as I can, because that word and phrase has been overdone. But you know, it's not even just virtue signaling. It's like that moral posturing, like people buying, you know, or having, like I said, the pride ribbons. It's like, look how I'm so accepting of gays. Look at me, like acknowledge me. You know, it's like, you know, am I the only one who thinks that way?
No. It's I didn't. I mean, I know that like those huge organizations that hold charities. I mean, I guess it's better than nothing, but still, all the money is still going to go to them for like, you know, 80% of it.
Sure.
It's just better. It would just be better if they were said like at the end of an NFL game, hey, give some money that you can to support this cause. You know, that'd probably do a lot more good than, you know, wearing pink or something.
Yeah, and as someone who is, you know, who sells to people, who is a marketer, you have to be careful with that stuff, because people are so easily deceived, where it's like, you know, oh yeah, look at my purple socks, I support breast cancer so much, look at me. And a lot of these organizations, yeah, I have looked into it. There's actually a great documentary called Poverty Inc. I think it's still on Netflix. I saw it on Netflix. It should still be on Netflix. But basically, I recommend for anybody watching it, because it talks about the dangers of so many charities across the world. And it's crazy to hear. Like, this is a very eye-opening documentary, but it shows how, you know, not really with cancer, but like a lot of these organizations, I guess I'll just pick one for an example, but like what they'll do is, I forgot the name of it, but like, you know what Tom's is? Tom's shoes.
I've heard of it.
Classy, you know that, right?
Tom's shoes. I feel.
You heard of those? You never heard of those? Like Tom's, where it has like the blue label on the heel. They kind of make like just like loafer looking shoes, and really comfortable shoes. Like not.
I might have seen that people want.
Right. So Tom's shoes, they got big and popular because they like ran their marketing campaign basically saying, every pair of shoes that we sell, we're going to donate one to Africa or some country like that. I think it was Africa, but some place where, you know, kids need shoes, right? The problem that happens is that, you know, America, we're such a superpower and want to help these other countries sometimes, that it's best that we don't help them at all. And I'll explain why. Basically, this company, and this happens with many things, this is just one example, but basically this company is sending all of these shoes to Africa. So what does that do? Now all of these villages and very remote places, very, you know, developing economies on the very low end, right? They have all these extra shoes that end up, it creates like a black market of, not a black market, but like a flea market of them. And then the person who's the shoemaker, maybe jobs and occupations that don't exist in this world, but in that world did exist, someone who would make shoes, who would like take care of shoes for people and things like that. Now he's out of a job.
I was thinking about that when you started this, but gosh, that's really fucked, because, you know, the company, they had no nefarious intent, assuming. I mean, it was a good marketing scheme, so I guess you could call that a little nefarious, but they for the most part, it wasn't. And, you know,
well, the documentary, like I said, I recommend you guys watching if you have some free time. Like I said, it's on Netflix. It does show that some companies, yeah, are kind of willy-nilly like, oh, we didn't know, but some companies like just don't care because it's pulling the heartstrings of people. It's like, yes, you like, come help us, we're going to grow, and they're having profitability and they're being successful on the back of people feeling bad and wanting to help them, and then so it's double, they're being fucked two ways, because now, yeah, they're actually being profitable and they're using that schematic to, like, I'm going to support this company because now that makes me feel better, right?
It would be better. I mean, I know just giving cash money to either, remote villagers or especially the governments of those nations, that isn't the greatest also, because, that money might be used poorly and it's incentivizing, reliance on other foreign powers and stuff like that. But man,
Sure.
it is a little.
Like I said, it is pretty mind blowing, and that's a problem too with all of this, with pride, with all of these things. It's like you have to be careful. Like, people will come with a smile on their face, promising that they're so good and they're there to be the good guy, and like you have to be careful, right? And the documentary shows, Bono from U2.
My mom would.
Your mom would. Well, yeah, I mean, he's pretty famous, but I mean, I guess he's kind of old now, but
yeah,
very famous rock class, U2, right?
I know what YouTube is. I just I don't know the stars. Right.
Yeah, they were big back in the day. I mean, I was never into them. It was actually kind of, before my time as well. But in the later of his career, he was known for like, opening all these charities and organizations to help. Philanthropy, yeah, as a lot of these people, with a lot of money tend to do. And then the philanthropy, I guess it's good, but you have to be careful, because it was showing how he opened all these things that like literally ruined the economy of all these countries and stuff.
That fucks. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So just like I said, anyone interested in this, I recommend watching that. And just,
what was the name of the documentary?
It's called Poverty Inc.
Ah, yeah, you mentioned
like INC.
Try and type it in the chat.
Yeah, you can type it, Poverty Inc. So I recommend that. But
sounds
yeah,
good.
Yeah, it's a good documentary, but it is kind of in line with the pride stuff as well, where it's like it's corporatized. Like, oh yeah, Wendy's has a pride on their burger. Like now, gay people are, they're free to eat this hamburger. Like it's pandering. And that's what I hate.
It's nonsense. It's fucked. I hate it. I hate it so much. But
what is this comment? Guy with a nice hair is right about this. Who they're talking about?
The guy with the only nice hair.
Oh, he's complimenting me. Yeah. Thanks, Lucian. Thank you.
I thought they were talking about Liberosity. Yes, nice hair.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks very much. But shit, what was I going to mention now? I don't know. I can't remember.
You want to move on to the other guy with the nice hair? Revenge of the Dreamer? Certain video you want to show us?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, if you think of it, Liberosity, you can jump in. But yeah, so I wanted to also talk about, did you guys watch E3?
Yes.
All right, so I guess for those people out there who have no idea what E3 is, to the like maybe none of you, one of you maybe, but yeah, it's a game. It's where like they announce like new games and stuff, and it's very highly anticipated. And I feel like now, because like gaming culture has become more mainstream and acceptable and out in the forefront, like more
gamers rise up.
Yeah, gamers rise up. Yeah, I mean, it is pretty crazy, and I think that's cool. Like, I think it's cool that like more people and just are not afraid to enjoy and show that what they're passionate about.
I play way too many games. I have Steam accounts with so many hours logged in. I have almost every Nintendo console, but man, I kind of wish they didn't exist because it's such a time sink. But I mean, I am glad that they're not being pushed as like the devil's playthings anymore. That's nice, but still, I don't know. I kind of wish.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. So yeah, basically there was a new game that was announced. It was called The Last of Us 2. I don't know if you guys played the first one.
I still haven't played it, but I really want to.
I've seen it. I don't feel like playing it, but I know about it.
Yeah, it's just I'm a PC gamer. I don't have a
That's cool.
PS4. Not yet.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, I played the first one, and you know, it's a really good game. It's maybe not for everyone. If someone who doesn't like stealth games, I like stealth games. You know, I freaking grew up on, you know, Metal Gear Solid and Assassin's Creed, so I like stealth games. But yeah, it's a kind of like a zombie stealth game. It's pretty good. But anyway, they're making the second one, and there's kind of been a controversy. Well, not a controversy, but I just feel like anything that happens now, I mean, just go to the Twitter news section and you can see like what are people talking about, enraged about, complaining about, whatever, right?
Is Ellie a lesbian now or something?
Right. So there's, you know, if you guys seen the trailer, I'm not going to really play it, but basically in the trailer, it shows Ellie like, you know, she's kissing this this girl in the trailer, and you know, she in the middle of the kiss, like she has like this flashback, and it's like the gameplay of her like going through this mission or whatever. So it was kind of a weird setup how they did that, but a lot of people were just kind of complaining like, oh my god, like this is in our face, like what are you doing? So before we go any further, what's kind of, I guess now that, like I said, this kind of threw a monkey wrench into things. I didn't know that you were bisexual, but what is your thing about seeing like gay relationships in the media,
I
or
don't
TV
care.
shows or video games?
I could not care less. I don't care. That's not the majority of people. That's not, you know, quote unquote normal. Heavy quote unquotes. It's not the
Wow.
average.
Right, and that's something too that I guess we can talk about as well, because I was thinking about starting this a little later than I thought it would, but that's good. Yeah, so what is normal, right? Because that seems something where like you might ask someone where it's like, is being gay normal? And then if you say no, then you're a bad person or you're like demeaning them, right?
Well, if you don't specify what you mean by normal,
Okay.
you might I think you could legitimately find yourself like, you know, it's your fault that you didn't specify what you thought is normal, because, you know, if I say gays are not normal, that could be taken as they're abnormal, they're abominations, that pathway, or it could be seen as they're not normal, they're not the average, they're not the status quo kind of normal. Just like say, but I don't know. That's kind of interesting actually, because if you use normal in that way, you know, it's not the status quo. Could you say other minorities are abnormal? Are Brazilians abnormal in America? I don't know. That's
I just think where it's like biologically, it's like most people who are born, regardless of their race. I mean, sexuality is something different. Most people are going to be maybe straight, and then it's a very small. I mean, when just looking at the numbers, it's just a very small amount of people who maybe go some other way, right? It's and that's, like I said, this is a conversation that's been had. What's your opinion, Classy?
On what specifically?
Just your thoughts.
I mean, I don't know. I guess I don't really have a problem with seeing gay characters kissing or anything like that.
Okay. Okay. Interesting.
I mean, it doesn't. What's it? I've heard complaints about like people saying like, oh, if you're gonna do gay, you gotta do it all. You gotta do everything gay. Like, you know, you have to dive in. You know, like, oh, and like the whole character arc has to be about why this character is gay, or it could just be something in passing, which I would prefer the you know, the passing.
Sure.
But
that's pretty profound that you say that. So, you know, there's this YouTuber. His name is Hi, I Think I'm Real. I follow him. He follows me. I actually messaged him a while ago, like a year ago, when we were both very small, just saying, hey man, we should collaborate. And then nothing really came of it. Nothing really came of it because as time went by and watching his, I guess, kind of seeing the videos he was making and watching the videos he was making, it wasn't really in line with what I really wanted to, I mean, not associate with, but just someone who I didn't want to have a chat with, to be honest.
I would have a chat with him.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, go for it. But and I mean, I would love to have a chat with him as well. Like, who knows? I'm gonna make a little clip of this and upload it to my channel, so we'll see what happens. But I'd like to have a chat with him as well. But I've over time, my main gripe with why I'm kind of doing this right now is because he's been growing, and that's good for him, obviously, like hats off to him and everything, but he keeps touting himself and saying like he has like a shield saying like, as a conservative, this is what I believe. Like everything he says is like, as a conservative, I'm a conservative. And I don't really try. I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, I could be shown that I'm wrong, but I would think that I don't really try to do that. Like, I just am who I am. Like, I don't really like to, oh, I'm this label, so I need to act this way. Like, no, I have my beliefs, and they do tend to lie on certain parts of the political spectrum. And it's kind of like a lifestyle to me. Like, it's not just something I believe on the internet and tell people on the internet or whatever. It's how I live my life, right? So there was and he's been doing this for a while, because basically he says he's a conservative, and then he makes a whole bunch of videos attacking people not attacking, but making videos of people on the right, and saying things like, oh, hey guys, maybe there are more two genders, or hey guys, we should kind of rethink this. And the arguments to me aren't really strong. It's kind of just like showing like, hey guys, look how open-minded I am. And then he'll retweet like, things from like, there's all these burner accounts. Like, there's an account educating liberals, which I follow as well, and he retweets like very hard right things that's not what he's saying, just he's retweeting it. And then he'll post stupid tweets, in my opinion. Like, so he made a tweet. I couldn't find this tweet, so I don't think he deleted. I think I just couldn't find it. But I'll just read what he said, and I told you guys it too. But he said, Sony's E3 press conference opens with two women kissing, and then he wrote in exclamations, SJW, force SJW agenda. I'm tired of this SJW bullshit. Kind of making fun of people who are complaining about that. And then he says, you fucking idiots, lesbians exist. Having them exist in a video game isn't SJW shit. Acting like that is. So the reason that kind of irked me is because for the longest time, a lot of this gay pandering bullshit is kind of infecting our media, is kind of infecting video games, movies. And like I said, I said this off stream to you guys, but some of my top videos that I've made and, are about film and media and how it's being affected and how it's being changed with influences. Like, just, you can kind of see the influences behind the scenes. And that's why, like, for me personally, like I said, whatever, if you disagree, I mean, we're here to disagree with each other. I don't want to see like they're putting like gay relationships in like cartoons and stuff, and like kids shows. And like I said, maybe that might be a radical opinion. I don't think that should be in kids shows. I don't want my kids watching, not like I hate gay people, but it's like, you can see sometimes when I watch these shows, like there was one Disney show in particular that I can't really think of the name again, but like when they center it all around this, like, oh, we're gay and, we're doing this behind the scenes, and like just the story, it's like I don't know, like I just feel like, wow, like this is, I wouldn't want my kids watching this, but that's just me.
I'd say, and I'll just make it quick so you can get back to what you wanted to do. But in terms,
continue.
When you're talking about Disney Channel and stuff, or some Disney sitcom, those bastions of great media, but I would agree with you. I don't think I would mind if there is a gay character on a kids show. I definitely wouldn't want a whole freaking synopsis centered around it. That's not important. I don't want TV teaching my kids about sexuality, any form. But I remember there was one big controversy, some show where like two moms were on screen for like a second, and they were like, one character was like, "Oh, where's the dad?" And it was like, "Oh, there is no dad." And, they played it off for laughs, and then it was like less than a minute, and that was it. That was like the whole internet. I don't care about that shit. That's fine. Or even if it is like a main character, really. But
sure,
yeah, I wouldn't want. You can't remember like was like a whole episode based around freaking sexuality of what you remember.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean I've seen like maybe multiple episodes about this, and I think like there was I know this one show is Girl Meets World where they played that up as well, and like every Disney show was doing this for a while, and
Really?
yeah, like I kind of kept up with it because I had a younger niece and nephew and stuff, and was talking to their parents and stuff. So yeah, what are your thoughts, Classy?
I mean, like personally, I don't. I mean, if it's a kid show, I don't really see there a problem if they had like like Liberosity said that one gay character, or maybe they'll show a quick scene with like same-sex parents, like hey, look, gay people exist. That's a thing. Like I don't see a big issue with that. I think that's actually a good thing. But I guess I can sort of see an
Yeah, I don't
issue.
think it's a good thing.
What?
Well, I just don't think it's a good thing, but
Well, I
go
mean,
on.
they're just gonna show like two dads like for like a few seconds. I don't see the issue with that. They're gonna
What's
see that in real life. So
the
what?
deeper it's the other thing, it's not just that. Like for example, so have you guys, I'm a huge Star Trek fan, by the way, huge nerd. I'm openly admit it, whatever. But this is my point. So you have you guys seen the new Star Trek movie, by the way? A lot of people don't really like the new movies, but I
Um,
like them.
I haven't seen any of the new ones. So.
I'm not a Trekkie.
Gotcha. So basically, in that movie, it's supposed to be like an alternate timeline of the old TV shows. And in the old TV show, you know what's his name is who plays Sulu? What's his name? The actor's name? George
oh my
Takei.
guy.
George Takei. George Takei.
Guy. Oh fuck! Oh, was it actually him playing it? I fucking hate him.
Well, he's kind of got off the rails and stuff. He's another like, I'm gay and I'm against Trump because gay Trump's against gays or whatever, right? But anyways, yeah, he's the oh my guy. Yeah. So basically, he was the main he was Sulu in the TV show. Sulu wasn't gay. Like Sulu was a straight character, right? And in the new movies, he's played by I forgot his name, but the Asian guy from Harold and Kumar. So in the new movies, it's like an alternate timeline. So what they did in the new movies is, in the old TV show, he was straight, like there was no indication as that he was gay or whatever. But they had the flexibility in this last movie to where, because they wanted to kind of honor George Takei, who played the character in real life in the old TV show, they wanted to kind of honor him in this film by making the character in the new Star Trek movie gay, even though he wasn't in the original TV show. They had the like kind of
I can understand.
Well, to be fair, I forgot the name of the creator of Star Trek. Roddenberry.
It's Roddenberry, something Roddenberry. I forgot his
Yeah,
first
well, anyways, I read somewhere that Roddenberry actually wanted to make Sulu gay in the original Star Trek series, but ultimately he just couldn't do it because, it was the 1960s. Like, they were already pushing boundaries with the whole interracial kissing and whatnot, that if they were to do like a whatever gay character or whatever, it just wouldn't work out. So
that's kind of funny. But I hate when freaking studios remake characters, racial swip, gender bent.
So let me finish real quick, and then I'm going to pass it on to you. So all they did in the movie, and I really like this. Like I didn't have any problem with it. I thought it was actually pretty creative and respectful, because basically in the new movies, like no one knew basically there was no indication that he was gay, right? In the new movies, and it's kind of it's a trilogy at this point. So there's been a 1, 2, and 3 movie, right? So Sulu in that movie, being played by the Harold and Kumar guy, I forgot his name. There's no indication that he's gay in the movies, but in the final movie, there's like a scene of him walking away from Captain Kirk, holding his husband and his kid, and just walking away, just glad to be together. I think it was like in the middle of the movie, and it was just a very subtle way to like, oh, he's gay. It's like, and it's go ahead.
I thought you were going to be like, so you're for this the subtlety of it, nothing. It's not pushed, nothing. You don't care about it.
I just felt like it served the story. It like if you watch the movie, like I said, a lot of like the old Trekkies don't like the new Star Trek movies. I like the old TV shows and I like the new movies. I just accept the new movies for what they are, and they're not you know, they're not going to be what the original shit was, and it's a fanboyism in there, but whatever. The new movies I enjoyed, and it served the story where like Sulu was, you know, he had gone through some really tough shit with Captain Kirk in the movie, and no, it wasn't tough shit, but they were on a journey. You know, they have the final frontier, they call it, where they go on like a 5-year exploration in space, and they don't come back to Earth for 5 years. So imagine that these people are in space for 5 years meeting. That's the whole premise of the original Star Trek shows, where it's like they're off in space for like 5-10 years, and they're visiting all these new planets and having these new experiences, meeting alien species and stuff, and that's all taking place obviously on this Enterprise ship, this spaceship. So basically it's kind of showing that, you know, we all have things we miss. We all have relationships. Like we all have family. If we're gone from them for a while, we want to come home. We want to see them. We want to be with them. And it's just never brought up. And then it's kind of like a little revelation that I had with my personal experience with my coworker, where it's like, I've known this guy for about 3 years, and then just out of nowhere, like, yeah, I'm gonna go hang out with my husband or whatever, and it's like, oh shit, like, oh wow, and then it opens the doors, and it's, you know, it in the movie it served the story where it's like I kind of related to Captain Kirk, where it's like, wow, like I knew this guy for so long, for years. We were on a spaceship fighting for each other, wanting to, you know, we were sacrificing for each other, and now I know he's gay, and you know, I didn't know about them. Maybe I didn't really know him, but it doesn't matter. Like we treated each other the same way, and like all these ideas and, you know, things and stuff, all the things I'm talking about and ranting about, those are all placed in that subtlety of that scene, and I think it's pretty beautiful. And it's an homage to just the original actor, which politically I completely disagree with. I don't really like him because you know, he also he admitted on Howard Stern that he molested a young boy and stuff.
What?
Yeah. I mean, that's what happens too. I mean, look at Kevin Spacey. Like, you have why is it? I mean, I guess
these people still walking around. Is Kevin Spacey even in jail yet?
I don't know.
Beyond the statutes of limitations, isn't it?
Yeah.
I honestly don't know what's going on with Kevin Spacey, but basically, yeah. Going back to Hi, I Think I'm Real. Yeah, he posted his tweet where it's like, you fucking idiots, lesbians exist. Having them exist in a video game isn't SJW shit. No, obviously you haven't been paying attention. The SJW shit is them pandering in the media with this gay stuff, where it's like actual gay people are sick of it, where it's like, we need you have to imagine. I'm just think about the background, right? So they're at E3, they want to make a bang. This is like one of the most anticipated games that they're going to make. You know, I mean, it's very anticipated. One of the best following up one of the best games of all time, classic, right? So a lot of people are waiting for this. So you have these executives at Naughty Dog, which is the developer, Sony, whoever's meeting around at the round table. There's some meeting going around at some round table with people in suits, right? And then there's the people sitting down there trying to decide how they're going to present this, right? So they're there. You know that there's someone just pushing up their glasses and saying like, yeah, we got to center it around this kiss so we can show.
It's just a marketing ploy. That's it.
That's what I'm saying. It's like they want to show that she's a lesbian to bring in the young millennial pride crowd that wear rainbow everything and bought all the rainbow pins. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. That's my point.
Especially like, you know, think of it, even especially in this game, think of the fucking ramifications. You know, I've heard the argument so many times, like, you know, and I don't give a shit if people are gay. Just like, you know, just don't be a faggot during the apocalypse. So we need to reproduce. Like, fuck, not that verbatim, but I'm trying to like think of. I've heard that similar saying before, but you know, think of what the fucking game is. I don't. It's not. It's I don't know. It's.
Any thoughts, Classy?
Well, I don't know. I think I would disagree on this. I mean, I don't want to spoil the game, but like from what I understand, in the first game, they already established that the character was gay, or whatever. So
that makes it worse.
Oh,
that makes it
like it was just a kissing scene. I don't see what's wrong.
But you have to. What I'm trying to say is that imagine that's what I'm saying. So they already know that they're gay. They want to like use it as a shield. They want to use it as like a marketing thing. Like, yeah, let's check it out. She's a lesbian. Come buy our game. That's what I'm saying. So they already.
Like, how do you differentiate you know, like them just saying, "Hey, look, they're gay," whatever,
Because it's
and
so
then
obvious, because it's so in your face. Like they base the whole thing around it, you know, and they're constantly doing as someone
Was it
who,
like I didn't watch Sony? I think I already mentioned at least off screen.
oh, Sony had the best E3, by the way. I
If you
don't care
say
what the Xbox fanboys said.
I hate
Sony.
Xbox, they're terrible. I think Sony. I don't even have an Xbox or a freaking PlayStation. I just know I hated Bethesda's and Nintendo's was pretty cool. But so did when they were saying like, all right, hey, let's look at The Last of Us 2, did it literally start with them like in a kissing scene?
No, it didn't start with
no,
the kissing scene. It started with a scene they're at a party, whatever, everything's fine. Eventually, I think one of the characters say, "Oh, why don't you go dance with her or whatever?" And yeah, then they went to the kissing scene, and then they show gameplay or whatever.
Mm.
yeah. So you have to understand, Classy, like. Just when I see that, like when I'm just picture me watching this trailer, you know the kind of person I mean. We've known each other for a while, right? And you know, and we're just we're just talking about this. There's no hard feelings, but I'm just sitting there and I see that where it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna. And she kisses the girl, and then they go into the flashback, and that's how it starts. And uh, I just roll my eyes. I just roll my eyes. It's like, just show us the goddamn gameplay. Like, of course you're trying to pander this. Of course it's Pride Month. Of course you want to like that's the main thing that you want to show off here.
I think I do have to side with you on this. It is. I mean, I guess I have my biases, but it does sound like it is just freaking pandering for the sake of pandering.
Yeah, and, I mean, going back to the original Last of Us, yeah, Classy, you're referring to there's actually like a DLC of the game because the game is there's the main character who's Joel, and then he has the sidekick which is Ellie, and then they meet up and they form like a father-daughter relationship, caring for each other.
He
Right.
dies, doesn't he? Well, spoilers.
Oh, yeah, spoiling it.
Oh, I didn't know he died, so whatever,
Oh.
fuck it.
Oh no! Wait! Oh, you didn't play the original?
I played the original, but I never beat it. But it's all good. It's all good.
No.
It's all good.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It doesn't ruin anything. It's all good. But anyway, so they have a DLC of that game where a DLC they have a separate story of that game. Basically, in that story, correct me if I'm wrong, Classy, but it's like, yeah, they established that she's lesbian and that she's having a relationship with this other partner that she meets. And yeah, it's a cool side part, and it's not like in your face. It's actually, yeah, it's literally the side story. You don't have to play it if you don't want to. And like,
I mean, I guess to be fair, they didn't advertise the DLC for what I remember. Like
exactly. So imagine if they advertised that original DLC on the original game with like her like holding the hand of that girl and kissing each other on like the fucking box art or on something. That's the point I'm trying to make. They didn't do that, so I'm not complaining about that, but I'm trying to like just paint the picture as if, what if they did do that with the original game? That's the thing where I'm like, oh, you guys just fucking suck. Like, you guys, like, Blair White talks about it, who, I don't agree with her on everything, but Blair White, the transgender YouTuber, she said something pretty interesting. She said one time,
oh no,
there's something wrong with the stream. Is he like lost in the train of thought? I'm sorry.
Oh no, buddy boy.
He's lost in the train of thought.
Ah, fuck.
Can you hear me just fine?
I can hear you, yeah.
I'm so sorry.
That poor boy. I wonder if the stream is still live or if there's going to be an issue if he's the main host.
I think. Let me see. Go to the stream. It just shows like his profile. I think like we're still doing fine.
All right.
Referring to the dreamer, if you can hear me. There's like lag coming from your side. We can't even hear you or anything.
Oh, nuts. Oh no.
Damn, this really sucks. Let me see. I mean, I can't really do anything.
Yeah. I was gonna say I might bounce early. I'm really not feeling too well, but man, I wanted to say goodbye. Yeah.
I mean, what, do you want to give it like 5 minutes?
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
a
sure.
minute?
I'll give it 5 minutes. I want to hear what he had to say about Blair White.
Okay, he actually left the hangout.
Oh,
Yeah, he's
here
gonna
he goes.
join.
Hey, you're back. You're alive.
I'm here. Is
You,
everything okay?
yeah, you cut out when you were talking about Blair White, what she
All
had to
right.
No,
say or
All
something.
I'm
right.
sorry. It's just like when you cut out, it looks like.
Damn. All right. I'm just happy the stream is still on because basically I'm having issues where my router like just randomly disconnects from my computer. So that's what happened. So thank you guys for staying here. Yeah, I was just saying that with Blair White, did I say the quote that I wanted to say?
No. You were about to.
I was about to. Okay. The quote I wanted to say that she said was that if your sexuality and your gender preference is the most interesting thing about you, you're probably not a very interesting person.
I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's my whole thing about this, Classy, is that as someone who is not gay, I can only go by my experiences and my, my whatever, just whatever you want to call it, my life, my anecdotes. I have friends who are gay and they tell me these things. Like I said, my coworker had it really spoke volumes with what he told me. About like how you have to be careful, and you have these companies, these left-wing companies, they're pandering so fucking hard. They're pandering to the gays, they're pandering to black people, they're pandering to Latinos, and you got to be very careful because yeah, these are, in my opinion, nefarious companies that will take advantage of these identity politics, and that's
It's super funny. Like I mean, I know we were talking about gay pride marches at the beginning, but it's freaking hilarious. Watching videos of pride parades, watching people march down with like banners that read like, "Oh, Bank of America is with Pride," or "Starbucks is with the gay."
exactly.
It's funny. And those are actual advertisements that I've seen.
Yeah, it's like, as a gay person, yeah, I'm gonna go fucking open an account at Bank of America right now because you guys are with me. Like, no one says that, no one does that. And that's what's ugly and just nefarious about what these companies do. And that's why with Hi, I Think I'm Real, it's like, yeah, you're just, you don't understand what's happening in the media. You're trying to say you're conservative. You don't see all the shit that they're infecting in our TV shows and our media and stuff. Yes, it is. It kind of reminds me of the Ryan Johnson who made The Last Jedi. And that's my whole thing. I mean, we can go on about Star Wars. We've talked to death about Star Wars. People probably fucking just get off the stream if I start talking about Star Wars and all this nerd shit. But I love Star Wars. But yeah, there's a huge clash right now. There's a huge division in the movies and in the thing because yeah, they are feminizing the movies. All the fucking generals are women. You have Holdo, who's this purple haired, probably lesbian chick who's like, probably lesbian, whatever.
I think I saw something that said it was official that she was lesbian, but I don't know. I'm not.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Yeah. But yeah, and then with the Han Solo, it's like before the movie comes out, Lando Calrissian is pansexual. It's like, the fuck? And I saw the movie. It's like that shit never comes up. Yeah, and that happens too with that happened with Harry Potter as well. That's the bull.
Oh no! Oh wait, you muted yourself.
He just muted himself. I'm sorry. Yeah, he needs to calm down. You need to calm down.
Oh, you muted
streamer.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, I'm just passionate, guys. I like talking to you guys, so that's a good sign.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, it's fine. Right. It's fun.
So yeah, basically what I was saying was, or what was the last thing you guys heard?
About the pansexual Lando Calrissian.
That didn't get brought up.
So it didn't get brought up in the movie. It's an obvious ploy. It's an obvious thing. Like, that's why they're failing. That's why people didn't go see that movie. That's why people are sick of this shit, because it's not in the movie. It's the same thing. I guess this is where I cut off, but I was saying I'm not a huge fan of Harry Potter. I have never read any of the books. I saw the first movie, but I know people are die hard about that. My cousin is like, she's like an encyclopedia of Harry Potter. She came to visit me so we can go to the Universal Studios just to go to the Harry Potter land and see it. And she was freaking the fuck out. She bought like 4 wands. So I know there's people like, if there's someone who's obsessed with it, my cousin is one of them, right? So I know people are really into it. So, but I do know that when the books came out, and I guess this happened around after the books were like already done.
Dumbledore, right?
Yeah, J.K. Rowling, who I don't like at all. She's the author of that book, and she posts like the dumbest tweets on Twitter. She said like, "Oh yeah, Dumbledore is gay." Yep, Dumbledore's gay, and it's just like this.
Well, obviously, yeah, he was gay.
That's what I'm saying. It's like it doesn't serve the story, and you have to be careful when these companies, when these people, they're obviously trying to do like, oh yeah, guess what? He's pansexual. Oh, he's gay. Just to fucking get those, just to pull on those people heartstrings, or they think they're influencing gay people or bi people or lesbians, gay, whatever. I don't care.
I gotta interject. I'm sorry. What's it? I'm gonna have to jump out a little bit early. Yeah, I'm not feeling well all over, but this was really fun. This is a good chat. I'm glad to have met the both of you.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you jumping on. Guys, I have Liberosity's channel in the description. Also, go check out his Pride video. That's kind of what inspired me to invite him on. Thanks for joining me tonight, man.
No problem. I hope you guys are successful in the future.
Yeah, man, let's do it again.
Sure thing. Yep. Hit me up whenever. Have a good night.
Have a great night, man.
Yeah, man. Cool. So, you want to continue this for a few more minutes? And
how are you good on? Are you good on time?
Yeah, I got a few more minutes. Yeah,
like you want to go till 11?
Yeah, I can go till 11.
All right, cool. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. Everyone in the chat. I was actually going to respond to some questions in the chat, but apparently some people started arguing, so it just went all the way down. So I'm very sorry. But I am going to start having. I have Streamlabs link in my description, guys. So if you guys want to donate, I do not donate at all through YouTube because I'm going to make a video talking about how if you're trying to make a YouTube channel, or if you're trying to like do anything on YouTube, don't monetize your channel because you're basically playing an uphill game. So my channel's not monetized. I've talked about this before, but if you'd like to donate and just have a little special shout out, I have a Streamlabs link there. If you guys feel inclined, of course, I don't force anything, but if you enjoy the content and want to support the channel, I would love that and I appreciate it. And if you guys are just watching this for free and just hearing, enjoying, and typing something in the chat, I sincerely appreciate it. So, yeah. Apparently, they're arguing. Some people in the chat arguing about gays being promiscuous. So, but I don't know if we'll talk about that. What's your thoughts about all this, Classy? About this whole thing? I just chose to bring up.
I mean, I definitely agree that, like, yes, a lot of movies, a lot of shows are definitely trying to pander to the LGBT community, by saying, "Oh, look at this character, look how gay he is," or whatever. Though, like, it's gonna come to the point where every single, main character, a very beloved franchise, is gay. They're gonna make what's his name, the Tin Man from Wizard of Oz, gay.
Is that real?
No, that was just a joke from Family
Guy.
Okay.
Yeah. Gotcha.
No, but
yes, yeah, I can't tell. I can't tell.
Yeah. But I don't know. I just remembered that from watching the E3, I was just so focused. I was just so excited for the games that they're releasing. I guess I forgot about politics, but
yeah, I mean, it was just something that happened. Like I said, it's not political. It's just like, you go on Twitter, you look at the news, and you look at what everyone's chatting about, and then there's going to be some obvious things, right? Things that are happening. So, but yeah, and that was one of those things. And then, so I guess what he calls himself Real. I think I'm real. He's saying, yeah, like, oh, this is SJW. If you're complaining about this, lesbians exist. It's like, dude, you do not get it. You don't get it. You don't get the thing that there's tons of conservative people out there who are fighting against this, who are not letting their kids watch TV shows because there is a gay agenda out there. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I'm just saying, like, yeah, like we had Liberosity on here. He's saying, like, hey, yeah, being gay, being bi, being whatever, that's not normal. And that's not saying normal as derogatory, but it's just not the norm. It's just statistically, like, just the math. You know, there's something, there's an anomaly, right? Doesn't mean it's a bad thing, but that's what we're trying to say, and that's what I'm trying, and that's kind of just what irked me, and that's why, you know,
well, if I think Unreal is watching this, just want to let you know that I'd be glad to chat with you, or even moderate a discussion between you and
yeah, we'll see what he wants to do. I mean, I would love to chat with him too. Like, he also made the video about Joan of Arc, saying that, oh, you know, we should hire actors on their merits, and if they happen to be black, then we're going to do that. And
I haven't seen that video yet.
Yeah, he just made that video, and it's like, there you go again. You're completely ignoring the fact what they're doing with Europe, like with European movies and TV shows. There's tons of European TV shows and movies and stuff where they're like, it's like they don't want to be historically accurate. Like, you know, if I'm like, I was watching, like I mentioned this in my videos, like you see Thor Ragnarok, and then Asgard, it's full of people of all races, but then and Black Panther, it's only Africans, right? So it's just a double standard that he's not seeing, and that is not acknowledging. And yeah, it is a bad thing to have, because he's like, oh, you guys only care about race, and that's what makes me different. That's not the conservative ideals. No, it's actually about people trying to influence culture. It's about people trying to change what they perceive as European. There is an attack on European culture and history going on. If any speak to any fucking European, they will tell you about that. It sounds like he hasn't spoken to those people, to any European people, and I do, and that's why I talk about this stuff.
Wait, so you're telling me Joan of Arc, who was from France, wasn't black? Shoot, I didn't know.
Yeah, she wasn't black. So, yeah, that's it. You know, hopefully we'll see if he wants to do it. He's had some other quabbles with other creators, and he's never actually spoken to them on a live chat. So I doubt he'll do it with me. So I'm not really keeping my hopes up. I don't really care. But yeah, man, that's about it. I think we talked about everything I wanted to talk about. I don't want to hold you for too long. Was something else that we didn't bring up you want to talk about?
No, not really. I think we had a pretty good discussion. Liberosity was a pretty good guest. You guys be sure to check out his channel. I saw his video. It was a pretty good video.
So you saw the video?
Yeah, I saw the videos.
Nice. Yeah, I wish he could have stayed on a little longer, but I mean, it is what it is, I guess. So I think that's it, man. So something new. It's probably coming soon, guys. I'm trying to set up a I don't know if I want to call it a religion debate, but some kind of Christianity, atheism discussion. I've never really talked about that, so it would be very interesting. Of course,
I better grab my fedora. I'm just joking.
Yeah, go grab your fedora, and I'll grab my. I don't know what am I gonna grab, but so yeah, my cross. Yeah, my cross, like the guy from The Exorcist. Or you ever play that video game, Dante's Inferno?
I've been meaning to play it, but I haven't played it.
No. Well, it's an old game, so it came out like on PS3, and then the studio. Yeah, but he has like he's like in hell, and he has like a holy cross as one of his weapons, and one of your basically your magic weapon to like string up your combos. You show this cross, and it's like it projects these like energy beams and shit. It's pretty badass. That sounds
cool. That sounds cool.
Yeah, it's a pretty dope game. Yeah, I wish they would make a sequel on like PlayStation 4, but I think that's about it. So yeah, like I said, guys, we're gonna have some sort of religion, Christianity discussion in the near future. I have someone who he might be joining me on another. Just a friend of mine might be joining me in the same room, or he might do the hangout thing as well. We'll see what happens. Is Alfonso gonna want to do that, or what's the deal? Osvaldo, sorry.
Hopefully I can get him on. Well, we can talk about it later in the private, but I'll definitely be joining for sure.
Gotcha. I guess that we can respond to some things here in the chat just for like a couple minutes. Is that cool?
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. Like I said, thanks for being in the chat. Apparently, there's a conversation here about saying how promiscuity in the gay community and how gay people are more promiscuous. This kind of came up in the discussion, but we didn't really nail on it. But something interesting I always find is that, like, look at Kevin Spacey. It was kind of like a well-known secret that he was gay, and he never came out of the closet, right? And he then was, excuse me, he was then he was accused of being of sexually assaulting this actor when he was younger at like a party in LA. Are you familiar with the story?
Yeah.
Right. So he was assaulted, this actor who's like in some famous thing now, but he's 27 years old or something right now, but he was like 14 or 13 years old, and he was at this party and he was sexually assaulted, or he basically Kevin Spacey like tried to lay on top of him as naked, right? So and then when this was found out, Kevin Spacey came out and said, "Oh, well, I'm gay." And finally he came out of the closet, but he kind of used that to like protect himself against the pedophilia. And I always used to like not want to link pedophilia with being gay or homosexuality or whatever. And then, you have these parties in like Hollywood and shit, there's a lot of pedophilia that happens in Hollywood. And a lot of it is with these, I don't know if you've seen Bryan Singer, who he directed the X-Men movies. He's also under some heat because he would hold like these gay parties with people that would come over, and they would have all these preteen boys in the pools and stuff just hanging out. And it's like, what do you think is going to come of that? And people try to say that like, oh, well, it's okay, or it's good. That's what I try to challenge you when we're having these discussions, where it's like, I don't see it as a big deal. You don't see I always try to see the bigger picture. And that's why things like that are dangerous, right? So that's what they're talking about here, about promiscuity in the gay community. So what's your kind of take on what I said or about that?
I didn't know about the whole Springer pool party thing. I have to look more into that. That doesn't seem right. I mean, having a party that I assume is supposed to be for adults, having all these sexually, active folk, and then just a pool party with some young boys.
Right.
That doesn't seem right. That seems a bit creepy, man.
Yeah. Mark 666 is saying youth is admired in porn broadly. So they're talking about porn and being youthful in porn. Yeah, that's another slippery slope. You have barely 18 pornography, or I made a video about, it's one of my top videos about this guy who's in Japan. He looks like a fucking 13-year-old boy, and is one of the most successful porn stars because he looks like a little boy. And I guess people get off on seeing a little boy fuck grown women or something, but it taps into what people are getting off of on, like, when you look at these like porn statistics and stuff, and like what kind of videos are watching, I feel is very telling on our society. It's very telling on what direction are we going. Like, that's why, I haven't really talked about it as well with pornography, and how I think pornography is a bad thing, and how it's changed sexuality, and how promiscuity also has changed sexuality with women and birth control. Like I said, I have very right-wing views. I openly admit it. I don't care. I know that
I would love to talk with you about that more in the future, for sure.
Right. Yeah, and then I have here Vigor the Soth saying no one is born straight. Children and babies are asexual until they start puberty, dude. I don't know if that's it sounds like a joke, but I don't think he's being real. I think it sounds like a joke, but yeah, thank you guys for joining us tonight in the chat. I really appreciate it. If you guys enjoyed this stream, please make sure to thumbs it up. I'm going to be releasing some clips of this stream, probably uploading it tomorrow. We're probably going to be streaming next week as well. We're gonna keep doing this, at least one stream a week, maybe more, but so far it's only been once a week. But I appreciate you guys joining me and sticking with me on the channel and everything. And like I said, I can't appreciate everyone enough, and everyone who's watching out there. So any final words, Classy?
No, thanks for tuning in, guys. Be sure to check out Liberosity's channel. And well, we'll see you next week.
Yep. And so yeah, thank you guys for joining us tonight. I will see you next week. Peace.